The echo of polished loafers reverberated through the cavernous underground parking garage beneath Pinnacle Tower, each step sharp against the cold concrete. It was just past 6:30 p.m., the air thick with an unnatural stillness. The usual bustle of late-night executives faded into silence. Nathaniel Cole, a 45-year-old tech visionary whose encryption algorithms safeguarded nations, ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair. His mind buzzed from sealing a $30 million defense contract, a triumph that should have sparked pride. Instead, an unshakable unease gnawed at him, as if the shadows themselves were watching. Then he saw him, a small figure crouched beside the front wheel of his sapphire blue Aventus coupe, its sleek curves gleaming under the dim fluorescent light. A young boy, no older than 9, knelt in the grime, his threadbare green shirt clinging to his slight frame, jeans frayed at the knees, bare feet dusted with the garage's grit. His eyes, bright and unyielding, were fixed on something beneath the car. Nathaniel's steps slowed. "Hey, kid, what are you doing by my car?" The boy's gaze met his, steady as stone. "Don't turn it on," he said, his voice low but urgent. "There's something under there. It's flashing." Nathaniel's heart stuttered. He crouched beside the boy, peering into the shadowed wheel well. There it was, a small, obsidian device, no larger than a coin, its red light pulsing like a heartbeat every few seconds. His breath caught. He'd seen trackers like this in classified briefings, military-grade, untraceable, designed to shadow their target without a whisper. Someone knew exactly what they were doing. "Who are you?" Nathaniel asked, his voice tight. "Elijah," the boy murmured, standing slowly. "I stay down here." "Saw them put it there." Black van, dark windows, 3 guys. "They move fast." Nathaniel's pulse roared. "You saw them do this?" Elijah nodded. "They didn't see me." "No one does." Before Nathaniel could respond, a faint scuff of boots echoed from the far end of the garage. 3 figures emerged from the darkness, black jackets, heavy steps, no haste. One held a metal pipe, tapping it lightly against his thigh. Another grinned, his teeth catching the faint light. The third, silent and broad-shouldered, cracked his knuckles with deliberate menace. Nathaniel's hand twitched toward his pocket, but Elijah's sharp shake of his head stopped him. "Phone won't help. They'll reach you first." "Then what?" Nathaniel whispered, his voice barely steady. Elijah's eyes gleamed with quiet resolve. "Stand tall. Block the car. Keep their eyes on you. I'll move." Nathaniel didn't understand, but he trusted the boy's certainty. If he ran, they'd chase. If he fought, he'd fall. But if he held his ground, maybe Elijah could shift the tide. The men closed in, their steps deliberate. The one with the pipe spoke, his voice oily. "Nice car, man. Just taking a look. No trouble." Nathaniel said nothing, planting himself between the men and the Aventus. His briefcase, loaded with unencrypted drives from the contract, sat in the back seat, a prize worth more than gold. The second man circled to his left, his grin widening. "You alone out here?" Suddenly, the garage plunged into darkness, every light snuffed out except the lone bulb above Nathaniel's car. A faint beep echoed, a security panel override. Elijah had slipped into the shadows, finding the fuse box. The distraction hit like a spark. Nathaniel dove for the wheel well, ripping the tracker free and hurling it across the concrete. It skittered into the void. The men lunged, but a piercing alarm shattered the air, motion sensors triggered by Elijah slamming the emergency call button near the exit ramp. The shrill wail scattered the attackers, their footsteps fading into the dark as they fled the failed ambush. Nathaniel leaned against the car, his legs trembling, breath ragged. Elijah reappeared, his small frame calm. "You okay?" Nathaniel knelt, gripping the boy's shoulders. "You saved my life." Elijah shook his head. "I saved the car. You saved yourself." Nathaniel stared, awestruck. This boy, unseen by the world, had become his shield. "Tell me everything," he said. "Every detail you saw." Elijah's eyes hardened. Black van, no plates. One guy had a scar on his neck. Another dropped a cigarette. They knew your car. Nathaniel nodded, clutching the crushed tracker. They picked the wrong man to follow. The next morning, Nathaniel sat in a fortified SUV, the tracker's faint pulse fading in his gloved hand. Across from him, Elijah, now in a clean sweater and sneakers, nibbled a granola bar, his eyes scanning the city streets with a vigilance that belied his age. Nathaniel had spent the night dissecting the attack. The timing was too precise, the tracker too sophisticated. Someone inside his company, Vellum Tech, had betrayed him. The drives in his briefcase held encryption keys that could cripple national security if stolen. The tracker wasn't about theft, it was about control. In Vellum's security suite, Nathaniel's chief of operations, Mara Klein, pored over grainy CCTV footage. There, she said, freezing the frame. 3 men, faces half hidden, but one tugged his cap, revealing a scar snaking down his neck. Elijah's voice cut through. That's him. He wired the tracker. Mara's jaw tightened. That's Gavin Holt. Ex-contractor, worked our data transport team. Terminated 6 months ago, but his access codes were never fully revoked. Nathaniel's blood ran cold. A mole. He knew my schedule, my parking spot, the drive's location. Mara nodded. He could have sold that intel to anyone, foreign agents, competitors, black market hackers. Call the feds, Nathaniel said. Send them the footage, the tracker, Holt's name. Full lockdown on the drives. And the boy? Mara asked, her voice soft. Nathaniel glanced at Elijah, curled on a couch, trying to disappear again. He's with me. Later that day, they returned to the garage, flanked by armed guards. Elijah led Nathaniel to the pillar where he'd hidden during the attack. I sleep here, he said, pointing to a shadowed corner. No cameras catch it. Nathaniel's chest ached. How long have you been alone? Since Dad left. Last spring, Elijah mumbled. Nathaniel knelt, meeting his gaze. Not anymore. Weeks later, headlines blazed, tech mogul saved by homeless boy's vigilance. But the real story wasn't in the news. Nathaniel brought Elijah into his home, not as a gesture but as a promise. He enrolled him in school, ensured he had mentors, meals, a bed. Every night, Nathaniel sat with him, listening to his stories of the streets, learning from a boy who saw what empires missed. The Aventus remained in the garage, no longer a symbol of wealth but a monument to survival. Gavin Holt was caught attempting to flee the country, his network dismantled. But the image that lingered was Elijah, small and fearless, warning a man who had everything about a danger he'd never seen. Courage doesn't wear wealth or power. Sometimes, it wears a faded shirt and speaks truth in a whisper. If this story moved you, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to Whirl Tales for more heartfelt, unexpected journeys. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, we love hearing from you. Until next time, stay bold, stay kind, and keep your eyes open.